as I'm filming this, I have officially rewatched every single Survivor season. That's crazy. That's like 70, 71 seasons I've fully rewatched, which well, I wasn't planning on doing this year, but honestly, I'm glad I did, honestly. So yeah, them done some shitty seasons, Survivor, I'm not gonna lie, which is what we were talking about in this video. But I'm happy I decided to go through those for a rewatch. It's made me appreciate Survivor so much more. So yeah, we got around 71 seasons to rank here, so this is going to be ranking every single season of Survivor. Again, I actually watched the US seasons, and I did do a video where I talked about my experience on those seasonal rewatches. But I've also rewatched every single international season, which I was going to do just separate videos, but in the end, I just thought it makes sense to just do in general ranking. And just a regular old ranking, so again, this is the Survivor Encyclopedia, and here's my ranking on every single Survivor season, US to international. Be sure to hit the subscribe button if you guys want to see more content like this. Let me know your ranking of every Survivor season down below in the comment section, at least the ones you've seen. So, nothing in the bush, got 71 sound about, so let's get started starting with the dead last season. Now, what is to me the absolute bottom of the barrel Survivor season? As I'll say, well, yeah, like though, next like 3 or 4 seasons, or probably seasons that probably have worse moments and more icky moments and more, probably the worst Survivor moments of all time. I don't think any moment season is like downright terrible. Like I don't think Ian has a downright unlikable cast or anything. It's just the reason why though this season is near the bottom is that it is the only Survivor season on this list that I can have no positives to say about. And that's rare for me to actually have Survivor season that has no positives, because even the worst seasons talk about, I can at least have some positives I can really say about this season. And this rewatch pretty much cemented that, honestly. And that, in my opinion, at 71, the worst Survivor season of all time is Survivor UK Season 2 Panama. Again, it doesn't really have an unlikable cast, I will say that. But it has probably the most nothing cast ever. Like, nothing interesting, not one interesting quality involving any of these people. I was not invested in any episode that was going on. Due to far aspects, the strategy was just lifeless. And thus, the first 4 episodes pretty much was just boring. Boring. And it led to episodes where basically no one side strategized. They just decided who was going to be voted out. They decided to make a tight vote. Who was going to win was going to decide what was going to happen. And even then, the order was still pretty obvious. And again, I don't have against Johnny or anything, but he's probably the most nothing winner ever on the show. Like, not bottom of the barrel winner, honestly, but he's the most nothing winner ever. Like, the most boring winner in terms of personality and interesting aspects. Like, you totally just didn't know what they wanted to do with this cast or this season in general. And again, there wasn't like any fun, interesting character moments, any fun, interesting aspects of this season. Again, it's just boring. And while I can say that some seasons were boring, I don't think I've wanted to like fall asleep more than when watching this season. That's rare for me, especially when it comes to Survivor. So that aspect alone, in my opinion, is why Survivor UK Season 2 Panama is the worst Survivor season, in my opinion. Yeah, other seasons might have more icky moments and more terrible aspects, and aspects that were probably worse in this season. I can at least find positives to say about the seasons. This season, not so much. And that's why it is the worst Survivor season, in my opinion. But yeah, of course, they were talking about like, the worst Survivor US season. Of course, Thailand's still the worst, and I'm 70. Like, again, Brian Hike's the worst one of all time, one of the most unlikable people in the show in general. His racist aspect and his ickiness makes the season just so unbearable to watch. Got one of the most lifeless cast ever to watch. You do have some fun character moments here and there, and there can be similarities with the dark humor. Like I think Jan, Clay, and Helen kind of grew on me a bit more on rewatch. Watching there can be some hilarious moments. Chian's like blowing the dog, and Ramsey's arc is actually pretty interesting. The Kingsville moment is incredible. But aside from those, yeah, the season's just boring. It's not much interesting. Again, I don't think I need to say what time is the worst season ever. It's still pretty bad. It's still a pretty abysmal season. The season is so bad that Jeff Post doesn't even want to acknowledge it, and for good reason. So yeah, Thailand, the worst season by a landslide. What's so sad about Survivor 1 was that this is a season that made me think of my stage name Samuel One World. Yes, the one world I got is from Survivor, which, considering my favorite show of all time, it kind of makes sense. But yeah, Survivor One World. Unfortunately, One World this season has not held up any well on rewatch, especially on this rewatch. Again, Colton. You don't need to say about Colton. Alicia. I don't think I need to say more about her as a character. Of course, you get the impressiveness on Kim Spradlin, which she's definitely one of the most impressive when it comes to a gameplay standpoint. But she's not the most interesting character in the world. Honestly, I think she's like one of the most interesting one as a war. Honestly, unfortunately, she's not like boring or anything, but she's just not the most interesting either. She's just fine. Tarzan and Troyzan are the most fun characters. To be honest, Troyzan and Tarzan are probably no reason why the season is above Thailand. Because I actually debated for a bit whether or not season is worse than Thailand. Honestly, I actually debated on that. Mostly because a lot of the likable characters, a lot of terrible treatments. Again, there was even one episode where the men were so incompetent they decided to give a tribal immunity. Remember that? But Tarzan and Troyzan definitely characters I've always loved, but I appreciate a lot more on rewatch. Even Cats at Blindside found to be a fun moment as well. Christina, just there, and some of my kids are just there, honestly. I still do enjoy Sabrina and Chelsea. Like, there definitely are more positives I can say about the season, which is why I saw obviously a little bit more high, you know. There was definitely a debate, mostly because of the Colton and Alicia stuff, a lot of the terrible actions in this season. And if they kind of just waste the whole one world aspect about two tribes being on one beach, which was an incredible concept. And I hope they bring back at some point. I doubt it, but I really hope so. So yeah, that's all I was going to say about One World. Oh boy. Survivor Island of the Idols. Island of the Idols. Island of the Idols. In my opinion, this is probably the most disappointing season of Survivor. Because a lot of aspects in terms of the pre-merge, in terms of the some interesting characters and great cast in general, and despite the winner not being the most interesting winner, he's probably one of the most impressive winners in show's history, and he gets some really good aspects in the pre-merge. In a lot of theories, this season should be like a lot higher on this ranking, but this is a definition, and I remember being, even despite the moment the measure happened, I was still high on this season when I first watched it, but this made me so glad I decided to do this rewatch series because, yeah, obviously I know did not hold up at all on a rewatch. Because of the whole dance field situation, which I don't think I need to say what the situation is, but I think it's obviously the worst moment in Survivor history. And the episode itself is probably the worst episode in Survivor history, and I don't think I'm gonna, and also I don't think anyone's gonna disagree on that, because yeesh, it is pretty abysmal. The whole treatment, how producers tried to treat the whole situation, how Kelly got out 2 hours in her pocket, a movie that should have been so extraordinary. You know what? I could rant about that more all day, so I'm not going to, but it's definitely one aspect where it's either went from probably like a 9.5 in the pre-merge to obviously being like to where it is right now on this list. Like, it's that bad. 2 hours of the pre-merge, it's still solid overall, and you do get a solid cast in general. Obviously, again, Tommy, while he's not the most interesting character in the world, he's still a great game player. Dean has his moments. Nora was fantastic television. I'm always a sucker for those kooky, crazy kind of characters, and Nora is one of the best. Lauren has her moments. Janet, she definitely should have won this season. Janet should have won this season. Elaine has her moments. Karishma has her moments. Again, holding Kelly also has great moments as well. Jamal has his moments. Even like Jason also was a great pre-merge character, and Chelsea has a great moments, and her blindside was pretty fun. Like, truly, there are a lot of positives season 2. I think season 2 should be like 5-10 spots higher on this ranking. But it's one of those things with the whole theme of Shield's situation eliminates probably a majority of the positives I just mentioned. Because despite even the fact it does have a lot of positives, now it should make this season a lot higher on this ranking. That whole situation easily puts this season at bottom 5, because it is that important of a moment, and so I don't think Survivor is really, even to this day, is going to ever come from. So yeah, and which again makes this season so disappointing, especially even the whole island aspect. We know Boston, Robin, Sandra, teaching a lot of players, like that was a great aspect, and it was good in the first half, but kind of just wasn't interesting after that, especially with that whole Jamal situation. So yeah. Now we get to the last of this tier. It would be like the true bottom of the barrel seasons, the ones that obviously I think are the absolute worst of the worst of Survivor. And this is the last season in that tier, and that is Survivor New Zealand Season 1. Yeah, New Zealand, as much as And New Zealand, the first season did not get off to a good start, honestly. And honestly, I don't really have much to say about the season, honestly. It's just kind of boring. I mean, it has a fun character, some fun moments, some okay aspects, but otherwise, the season itself wasn't structured very well, and then the whole episode structure, and they made it just not that interesting in case to watch. Until they didn't have much content they want that pull off on, so it's just kind of a nothing boring season. That's really all I can really say about it. It's not having something more to say about the season, but I really don't. With that ends what I call the like worst of the worst, or the big bomb category. And of course we get this season I consider to be like bad, but not worst of the worst, with 66 going to Survivor South Pacific. Yeah, I hated this season when it first aired, and I still don't like it now, honestly. In fact, I kind of think it's a little worse than I meant it to be. And to honestly, I'm a bit more high on Sylvia as the one, mostly because of her time of winning the war. Yeah, the whole cult situation, cult aspect, just... And well, yeah, I know this point in the season where I think some people think the some aspects are very underappreciated, and there was some fun aspects of season more lie. You get to front, the whole like Stacy situation, the mean like Benjamin stuff. It's still hilarious. Christine is a fun character. Michaela has some moments, and Ozzy has his moments. Jim Rice, Cochran, even Albert has his moments, but most of the cast are just very under-edited. There's not so much interesting characters in the world, and it's kind of a slog at some point, especially the whole Brandon Hand situation, how he is. Like, I'm sorry, I really hate Brandon Hands, honestly. I'm sorry. I'm pretty sure a lot of people don't, but I really couldn't stand him this season. Like, he's one of the reasons why the season is actually as low as it is, because he was just unbearable to watch. And with the whole cult situation, whole religious aspect, like, I'm not having against like religious aspects of reality shows. It was just so in your face and so, like, really? But I still like Coach though, obviously. I still like him as a character, even though he's a lot less chaotic in this season. And obviously he probably should have won, though I cannot understand why he didn't win, because he can't take this final trial performance. Again, another example where you could have like, the biggest element in the game, but if you don't nail your performance, you're going to lose. And that's why I'm a coach, so yeah. South Civic, yeah, still pretty bad. Of course, we're going to talk about Brandon Hand's more, because in Season 5 we had Survivor Karen Moen, being for favorite steal. A season that probably has the biggest drop up on the list aside from Man on the Idols, because I think I was a little high on this season when it first aired, but yeah, this proves why I started to do this rewatch, because Karen Moen really sucked on a rewatch. Again, a season that really tried desperately to recapture the whole like fans versus favorites aspect. But of course, they failed by one, not having any interesting favorites, and two, having fans that aren't actual fans. And you get what's probably the worst debatably the worst pre-match in the show's history. It was just a slog. A slog. To why you do have some fun character moments here and there and some fun aspects. It's just there's not one interesting build out throughout the entire pre-match. Not one. Not one interesting pre-match in the show's history in that season. But the pre-match does elevate a little bit. I think mostly because of the free Migos tribal, but I think it's still one of the best drop counts in the show's history. Philip is a lot less unbearable this season. He does have some moments. Again, Malcolm's still great TV, and Grendel becoming unknowns out of nowhere was pretty odd but interesting. Sherry having like a really fun downfall, someone who was pretty dominant in the pre-merge, but yet just wasted away in the merge. Like, it's kind of hilarious if you think about it. I didn't realize this season though how under-edited Brenda and Eric on this season. Like, considering that Eric went from a fan from the first season, I think they'll do a way to actually make him be like an interesting character or an interesting aspect of this season. But you just kind of feel bad about how he was portrayed this season. Like, in fact, he got unceremoniously evacuated the final five. Like, it's really sad, honestly. And of course, Conqueror, to while his win is credible, going from a nerd to an actual challenge beast, his win is one of the most obvious wins in the show's history. Like, incredibly obvious. So yeah, there was just some fun aspects, but overall, it's a pretty bad season. And then for 64 and 63, we get into two seasons that the reason I pop up both of them, because there are seasons that have gotten a little more love recently, very underappreciated seasons nowadays. People actually starting to enjoy more, honestly. At least from what I noticed from people I talked to about these seasons, and unfortunately, I'm still not one of those, honestly, and that is with number 64 going to Sonic Nicaragua Season 21 and Spider World's Part Season 30. Yeah, I know some people really do actually appreciate some of these seasons and actually these seasons got a lot more love in recent years. And I'm sorry, I wish I was one of those people, but while I will say I'm a little more up on Nicaragua than, well, I say I'm a little more up on Nicaragua than what I originally was. I think this was the worst season of the Dark Era. Obviously, I don't think that now, but yeah, it's still pretty bad. Not any interesting moments. Again, Bob was like the winner. I like Chase and Sasha this time around. James is a fun character, and her once I wrote with Marty. And Marty's a great character. But of course, you got the infamous like Quit and you got some pretty uninteresting pretty much characters. Again, not interesting pretty much in general, and just aside from the Borneo blindsides, it's just in the whole double Quit, there's not really any interesting moments. And then Worlds Apart, which is one of the most mean-spirited cast in show's history. To one, I'll say, I know some people do actually do like Rodney and think there are fun characters, in spite of their douchiness. I'm sorry, I just still can't stand them, honestly. Well, especially I can't stand either. Mike Hallway's on the run, like honestly, Mike Hallway's on the run is definitely what elevates this season a little bit from being a lot lower on this list, because he also gets to play some fun pre-match characters with, Vince, Joaquin. Unfortunately, they went out pretty early. Maximo had some fun moments. There were some fun character moments, and Haley, Jen, and even Joe has his moments. I still think he's just a fine character and a fine player. I never was the biggest on Joe, if I'm being honest. But again, the reason I decided to bring the both to Tom both together because again, they're kind of similar in season 2 where they got a little more appreciation in recent years, but I wish I was one of those people. And of course, that ends the bad tier on this list. But of course, we're not done talking about the great just yet, because of course we got some bad seasons to talk about. And I'm just looking that way, as it comes to not being the first Australian survivor on this list, and that is Australian Survivor 2002. Stephen, Robin, and Katie. This season's just forgettable. Sorry, that's all I can really say. Sorry. And now we get into the first Australian season that's on the number 10 era. And yes, I'm the Australian season, I'm still not feeling against it. And that is Australian Survivor All-Stars. A season that I never was high on, but I think it kind of went down a little bit on this rewatch. It always sucks when it disappoints. It always sucks when their returning play season ends up becoming incredibly disappointing. Why is that always so goddamn unfortunate? Like, seriously. But yeah, Australian All-Stars, and you can tell they probably should wait at least a couple seasons later for an All-Star season, considering the choices they make were pretty questionable. And there's also when Australian Survivor started to really shine itself on the throat with the twist and a lot of elimination episodes, some that end up not really having a much of a point or a purpose. Like, not really anything at all, but unfortunately some of the big players that were huge on past seasons, Australian Survivor seasons, ended up coming like you forgotten characters, under-edited players, or just don't make as far as they should have. And you're wrong, get a lackluster season where while the winner, David Guetta, has a pretty impressive win on paper, and he is definitely a pretty impressive winner, at the same time, he's probably the most impressive winner in the show's history. From minute one, you can tell, yeah, he's going to win. Well, he's definitely one of the most impressive winners. He's definitely still debatably the best Australian Survivor tested and play of all time. I still don't think about that, but he's definitely up there at least. But yeah, he's definitely the most put to win in show's history. And since it's like a 24-episode season, that's not good. Like, this is a good aspect. Again, Sean has a fun character points. Milana has a good moments. Brooke has a moments. Shawnee's still an all-time good character. Even AK has his moments. But unfortunately, some of the early boots from Lacey sticking back, like Tarzan and Jackie, did not have much to do this season. Even Zach has a point, doesn't have much to do. But he still gets a fun ones involving Carrie and other characters that end up returning, honestly. Now, Roger's still a great player that kind of got a little screwed over. But as a whole, again, potential winner, the twist and everything. And while there are some fun moments here and there, in terms of Australian Survivor number 10 seasons, this one's easy to watch just because how boring it can be at times and how under-edited. Now, it's probably some of the worst aspects of Australian Survivor season at time, which thankfully in the last few seasons they have fixed, which you will still see this much higher on this list. But as a whole, yeah. Now at number 60, we get to probably the more money in the best season of the Dark Era Survivor, and that is Redemption Island. Yeah, this I think is the best season. Right? All people usually have this as like the very bottom, and obviously I understand why. Obviously, I mean mostly because of the Boss for just steamrolling every day, the Dutch Island twist itself, and it would actually very stupid. Which I can definitely totally get onto them. First off, But I see this a matter of choice, mostly because I think it has a fantastic premiere episode. Like, I think it's honestly one of the best premieres in show's history. I think Philip has grown on me on this rewatch. I think there are some fun characters like with Ralph and David. And of course, Boss Rob, like, despite the fact that he is very dominant, he is still an all-time great character, and he definitely proves that tenfold on this season. And I'm someone that also doesn't really mind I don't know if I mentioned specific, but I'm someone that doesn't really mind the Dutch Island twist, honestly. Like, I don't know why, I've never really had an issue with people like, wanting to come into the game or returning. It's never really been an issue for me. So obviously I can understand why it is for some people. And I think it's just execution, and they feel like they handle it much better in Blood vs. Water. But yeah, it's still not the most interesting season in the world, not one I would rewatch, especially with the merge portion, which has some of the worst episodes in the show's history. It's definitely not a good season, obviously, but other Dark Age seasons, and aside from, of course, Warren season, it's definitely one of the most horrible ones. And now we're going to get to the first season of the new era on this list, and that is Survivor 41. Again, I already talked about this season when I did my ranking of all new era seasons, so I'm not going to get too much in details, but pretty much, I really didn't get much season. I think the season's kind of got worse the more I thought about it, and also has aged pretty well. The Wall does have some great characters and some great moments here and there, and a great story episode. A great Chain Blindside. There are some fun moments scattered throughout. It just piling on that with just twist after twist after twist, and just shoehorning in a lot of these new twists and formats that just don't really end up holding up all that well. And it's definitely a case of them trying to figure something out, but it just didn't end up working out so well. And now we get a season that I never actually really liked, but I think it's kind of worse a little bit on rewatch, and that is the disappointing season that is Ghost Island. I think Ghost Island was a major disappointment. Mostly because I really like the concept of Ghost Island. I think it's actually a pretty unique concept. Basically having an extra island, but basically being an island being full of past mistakes and contestants. Like, that's a great demon concept. They just don't use it very well. And this is definitely one of those seasons where basically you have certain people basically be the focal points and kind of just screw everything else. Like, I mean, there are some good players aside from Dominic and Wendell. Like, Jacob honestly has one of the best flameouts in the show's history. Logan has their moments. Brenda and Stephanie have their moments. James and Bradley, I think, are pretty underrated characters. And of course, you got Chris Noble, who's one of the best villains out there. And Steve Donovan has his moments, but everyone else just finds to be just okay to mediocre, it's just boring. It's pretty much like a steamroll, and the strong really like sours a lot of the stakes and a lot of the passion a lot of times. I would say the Von Trump Council still is great with the final vote. I'm sorry that's not huge on the finale itself, because I don't think it's really interesting before then, but the final vote definitely does elevate it. Those aspects really do what elevating, and of course Don Wendell doing great characters and great fun too. But again, so focused on them that they kind of forget anything else. Even they can't carry a season. So yeah, Ghost Island, not a good season. And now, and of course, that was part of the Met portion. Now we're getting to the mixed bag portion here, with number 57 being the original Survivor US All-Stars, the first returning place on this list. And of all the seasons on this list, Survivor All-Stars is probably the season that's probably aged the worst. And I know I'm not the only one that thinks that. Like I remember this season was super hyped and super beloved when it first aired. But when you actually think about it, and seeing all the stuff that's happened after this season, and all the stuff that happens after, and all the stuff that all the seasons we have since then, this season really has not aged particularly well. At all. Like, it's probably the least fun Survivor season on this list. And truly, the only reason why it's on number 57 on this list, because there is possible this season being a bit lower. It's just this season started the whole legacy of Boston Rob, and there are some great moments around this season. I'm saying there are still some occasional fun moments here and there. After because easy returning players back was definitely an interesting process, even if some of the favorites go home very early. And of course, the whole Boston Rob election situation is a pretty fascinating scene with some of the most brutal and most cold-blooded and the most human moments you ever see on Survivor. Because it's one of those things that's kind of a double-edged sword to while it is an iconic great moment, it kind of sets the tone, what the tone was for this season, which you can tell that no one's really having any fun on this season. And you can really feel it a lot of times. But again, the storyline of Boston Rob and Amber, and this was the season that basically set up Boston Rob as probably the icon legend that he is today. And like, he's still going to tell how he was on freaking DNL Island recently, and he's going to be on the next season of the freaking Traitors. So yeah, Boston Rob still has an ongoing legacy to while he has said some questionable things, You cannot deny that as a character, he is fantastic. Fantastic. And yeah, Rupert's also a great character. Even Big Tom has his moments by him coming off as pretty much asshole-ish nowadays. Asshole-ish in his season. She had a great underdog run throughout the season. I like Jenna Lewis as well. But again, that sour tone really does bring the season down. So while, yeah, there's definitely is a big season being low on this list. But the whole storyline, Buster and Amber, them put them be the best show in the show's history. Which they're still going to show 20 freaking years later, might I add. And that's enough to put this season to where it is. Okay, and now we're going to get to another return to play season, and that is Game Changers, number 56. And definitely a definition of a mixed bag season. So, well, the different things I do appreciate more about the season upon rewatch, mostly because the pre-merge, I think it pretty much has some of the more fun moments of the season, like the whole Tony Vlacho's flame out was very entertaining, and his back and forth with Sandra. As much as I'm not really huge on Sandra nowadays, she definitely plays her great characters this year. Her thought was incredible. And JT somehow screwing his game even more in this season than he did in Hero vs. Villains. Like, holy shit, he really screwed himself in this season. Like, he somehow did even worse than Hero vs. Villains. Like, wow. And the whole Malcolm Trump counts, despite the fact that I'm not huge on the two tribes one tribal, it doesn't. I carry 9. It makes for incredible TV. And makes for one of the best tribals in the show's history. And then there's a Jeff Varner situation, which, yikes. That definitely started the season a little bit, but the merge itself definitely does tank a little bit. Mostly because while there are different also moments in which here and there, like the whole Suri battle meme moment I really enjoyed, and Suri feels always great on TV, Ty's still great, Aubrey's great. By the fact that Sarah Cena is not the most interesting character in the world, seeing her play a Tony style live game was definitely pretty interesting, even if her win was extremely predictable from early on. And of course, the fact that these seasons like game changers, and half this cast are not really game changers, like half actual game changers and half like second chancers. Like, really? And you can really feel a lot of sadness on a lot of points in this, a lot of points. Now I mentioned DNA also kind of goes downhill. One, most because they have a lot of votes that aren't really properly explained, like the Andrea and Michaela for us being prime examples of that. And of course, this Vantage Kingdom, which, well, it might be great as a great TV moment. It's probably one of the most frustrating moments in the show's history, in my opinion. I will put it in my top 10 worst moments in the show's history, because it fundamentally breaks the game. And the fact that Suri somehow gets the most screwed she's ever been on Survivor, like, yeah. That's probably she doesn't get more screwed over, she does return for Survivor 50. But yeah, I do have a lot more fun enjoying Game Changers upon rewatch, but as a whole, it's definitely a very disappointing season. And now at number 55, we're getting to the next Australian Survivor season on this list, and that is kind of a total season, but not really, but that's Australian Survivor Blood vs. Water. Definitely a season that definitely has gotten worse upon rewatch, and this is definitely a season that I think Brother Campbell's back comes to Australian Survivor television because, yeesh. And also, it's definitely had a lot of cultural twists that kind of started. I mean, 10% 2 kind of started it, but it all started went forward. Brains with Braun went insane, and Blood vs. Water just like, woo! And this was the worst aspects of Australian TV. In fact, you only got 24 players, but yeah, some of them don't get a lot of confessionals. Like this is a season where like some of the cast don't get any confessionals at all. Like there's one contestant named Jay who doesn't confessional at all in 6 episodes, and then there's a one contestant Mel who doesn't get a confessional until the friggin' merge. Like that's insane, but not in a good way, obviously. But oh no, again, there are definitely also great elements of Blood vs. Water. Again, seeing Sandra play Australian Survivor was interesting, and even seeing her daughter play was pretty cool. You know, of course, her run didn't end so well because she ended up being evacuated, which was pretty emotional. And you get some fun, pretty much characters, and Amy and Com's also a great character. Chrissy has some moments. Sam definitely has some moments. Jordy was a fun villain. The third Trump Council was kind of insane but fun in general. But again, this season kind of plays a lot of the worst elements of Australian Survivor TV, with again, editing just being so crappy all over the place, and having just twists that feel like are just there to just pad out the screen time, to pad out the episode length. And because of that, you really feel that, especially this one portion where basically they just had like, they vote out 4 people, and then 3 that aren't coming back. In the freaking merge! I'm not joking, that actually happened. Well, 3 people basically got voted in and ended up returning and never emerge. And of course, there are some players that actually, at first, mainstream might have going to have good screen time or have potential to be great characters, but after the premiere, they basically drop off the face of the earth. They have a basic compliment on that. Players that like should be interesting characters or should be great gameplays, but just aren't really that shown. Again, there are also some great moments in the season, like the whole Sandblind side and the whole Jesse Tribal Council moment definitely has incredible moments. But as a whole, Blood vs. Water is just not great every season. Again, despite the worst elements of Strike Force. Thankfully, after next season they fixed all the majority of these issues, but yeah, still was definitely not good. That was definitely not a good time to be an Australian Star fan. And now we get to now we get to Nutty's house season. This time to talk about Nutty UK season. That is UK season 1. And this is just perfectly fine, honestly. To be honest, there really isn't much I can really say about the season, for being honest. Like, it's very cheap, it's low quality, has some good plays here and there, and Charlotte being a very interesting winner if you were to think about it, because I totally forgot that how negative she was portrayed on this season, unless I probably watched it. And there were some good characters and some crazy back and forth throughout, but as a whole, it's just fine. It's one of the seasons that's just kind of there. And for good reason. After the 3, we get the last in this mixed bag here. That is the ultimate mixed bag, and that is Survivor Fiji. Season 14, a season that has probably one if not the worst pre-merge in the show's history, with the whole half is having a twist. But the merge definitely does pick up a little bit. Well, it does pick up strongly as some seasons that have a not so good pre-merge, but a good post-merge. But everything from the final hour was actually pretty interesting, with the whole Tropic Council being one of the most fun and chaotic Tropic Councils in the show's history. I forgot how crazy that Tropic Council was. You also got Man, who's also a great character. Dreams I appreciated more in this rewatch. Yeah, Earl, I think, is shot up a lot of my rare rankings because of how likable he was and how the fact that he did not watch any episodes, only watched like one episode of Survivor correctly. He was able to play pretty well. Again, so upsetting that he was one vote away. They had one vote, but not. The club is one. You see, only one in the vote in episode 3. He did not get a perfect game. Because the club, he ended up seeing the unanimous votes. Remember, he ended up seeing a unanimous vote. But Earl is just incredibly likable. Likable and very enjoyable to watch and witness. And pretty much, with the hand-on twist, pretty much kind of sucks. All the pretty much characters are just fodder, probably some of the most forgettable and uninteresting characters in the show's history. Honestly, again, after Swamp, it does kind of pick up a tad bit, but not really. I read the whole Machop Monster was still pretty interesting and fun. We definitely get a lot back and forth throughout the season, and a lot of crazy shenanigans that end up happening. So yeah, as a whole, PG is just personally fine. And again, the pure definition of mixed bag. Now we're gonna get to the not bad, could be better kind of tier, which basically is just a decent tier. So, it's basically a decent solid tier on this list. And then for 2, we get to another season, that is Survivor 44. Again, aside from Kill and Jam Jam, not much about the season. That's really all I can say. And now at number 51, we have Survivors. Sorry about the yawning, but yeah, number 51, we have Survivor Samoa. Basically, the Russell Hands show. Sorry, yeah. But basically, it's basically the Russell Hands show at this point. And like I said before, this season, how you enjoy it will depend on how you feel about Russell Hands. It's probably about that he's a very controversial person and character, and for good reason. He does make the season pretty entertaining, obviously, as he is a game changer. He was for episodes to get clues. He does have some pretty entertaining moments. He does have some pretty fun aspects to it. And while there's also some fun aspects aside from this, like, the whole Shambo and Law rivalry. Aside from that, Russell's pretty much like the star in the show, but of course, it's a definition of someone who, they have someone who's like a huge star, and because of that, everyone else pretty much just falls to the wayside, and gets poorly edited and poorly handled. And that's what I'm saying about Samoa, honestly. You know, he doesn't make entertaining enough to be high up on this list, but as a whole, he's just not great aside from that. Now coming at number 50 on this list, we have Celebrity Big Brother Australia. And it's honestly kind of a frustrating season if you really think about it, because again, this is a season that honestly I think a lot of people would compare to Survivor Bone, honestly, which is a season that would be much higher, but it's a season that is so terrible and batshit insane that it's like, oh wow. And honestly, in some aspects it kind of is, honestly. I mean, it has a season where basically the final three, yeah, we have two people return to the game at the final five, and those two returnees end up making it to the end. In the final three, we have a season where basically two people end up returning to the game, and those two people end up making it to the final two. Like, really. And sure, there are some aspects that just terrible, batshit insane. I think the problem I always have with Celebrity Big Brother Australia is the cast itself. I think it's like the one of the worst casts in the show's history, but not a lot of them really popped. Like, even those two players that urged their return were just whatever. Don't have much to say about them. I just don't have much to say about the cast in general. Like, they're not terrible by any means. Some may have their moments, and there are some fun character aspects here and there. Let's just say, there's just a reason why this season is just kind of more forgotten nowadays. So, yeah. And now we're going to go from one Australian season to another, and that is Champions vs. Contenders 2. Now, this is basically where the problems Australian Survivor really start to show. This is when it obviously in the stream we talk about with All-Stars, and the All-Stars and Blood vs. Water, and maybe even Braves to a Bond to an extent. And this started to really present a lot of issues with the Australian Survivor format. Because obviously you got 24 contestants, and you got 24 players, and a lot of days, and a lot of episodes, and a lot of nomination episodes, and a lot of twists. And a lot of times you really feel that in this season. A lot of times you really feel that. Honestly, and a lot of the future players that they're coming just cannon fodder. If I'm not correct, there's like one player in this season that didn't even end, that was brought on episode 5 or 6, and they never received any confessionals or any screen time. I am not making that up. And it's kind of start that little trajectory, honestly. I think there's still enough good here, honestly, because obviously you got Luke Taki, who I think is an all-time great Australian Survivor character, an all-time great Survivor character in general, a guy who is just fun, buying confessionals, has an incredible energy to him. Like, he's like one of those players that you can play like multiple times and I would never get sick of. Like, he's definitely up there as one of my favorite Australian Survivor players. Like, really up there as one of my favorites. Then, of course, you got Dirty Harry, who's also a fantastic character as well. Abby has her moments, Daisy has her moments, Janice has her moments. It's surprising she actually got brought back for a screenplay for a season yet, honestly. And they also have some fun moments and some crazy blindsides. But again, it's really the editing that really sinks this season, because it solves a lot of the issues I mentioned before previously with Australian Survivor TV. But I mean, there's still enough good here to where I definitely think it's elevated, but as a whole, it's not that bad, but it's just, again, the editing, it's almost one thing the editing really does sink it. And now for 48 and 47, we're actually going to finally get to the South Africa portion of Survivor. Okay, it's a very topsy-turvy era portion of International Survivor. Also, the fact that we're talking about it now, honestly, shows the quality of the season. There are definitely some of these that are going to be really high on South Africa. But the first one we're talking about, and we're actually going to talk about two of them, honestly, with 48 and 47 being the first two South Africa seasons. Number 48 being Season 2 Malaysia, and number 47 being Season 1 Panama. Interesting about South Africa is for the first 5 seasons, it was very up and down quality, and also not really sure what it really wanted to do with this format, and the concepts, and the cast, and the structure and everything, so it's kind of one of those like going around and see what's six kind of things, and yeah, you can really feel a lot of left points. Like Season 1, it's probably the better season, mostly because I think it has much more strong cast and some really fun moments. You know, they'll have another instance where two people end up coming back at the final 5, though it leads to an incredible blindside at the final 5, and it ends with basically just two people basically just getting eliminated through challenges. Yes, challenges are who was final 2. And one of the person that's voted out actually ended up winning. Yeah, I would say Laser is probably the weaker one, most because I don't think it has much standout moments and not kind of a bit weaker cast, but there was still some fun back and forth on Super Season. Also some fun blind sides and some interesting character moments. Still has that challenging, but at least it's just the final four this time. And again, so they're both really solid seasons that I would probably still recommend, just knowledge that they are a bit rough around the edges in some areas. And at 46, we get to Survivor 46. Again, I did upload videos because I ranked all the New Era seasons, so I'm not going to get too much into the New Era Fortune seasons. You can check out that video. But basically, 46 season is just so frustrating because it doesn't have some great high highs. Like, the premiere is great, the Survivor is great, the final 10 round is probably the best episode of the New Era. I think ending out that is actually pretty great Survivor, honestly, and pretty great character moments. And you get some all-time great characters here. Q, Quincy, I think, is a great winner, gets a great character moments, some really fun aspects. But it does have the worst pre-Dre phase in the show's history, with episodes 2 and 4 being an incredible drag. Probably the worst episodes in the show's history, in my opinion. Probably the worst migratory episode, probably one of the worst double travel episodes in the show's history. So the season is just kind of boring. Ends up being boring at some points because of the drags and the predictable vote-outs and everything. And but like I said, everything Valentine 1 does save the season, and it definitely is the most standout season of the New Era so far, but it's those aspects that do unfortunately bring it down. And now we get to the last tier of the not bad compared tier. We have Heroes vs. Healers vs. Hustlers, season 35. A very strange season because obviously, unfortunately, this is the start of the whole fire making challenge. We kind of let the Ben end up winning this season, and yeah, as much as I'm okay with the final twist as of right now, it definitely is something that kind of sinks it. I will admit, it is something that sinks this season. It is something that does bring the quality down a bit, mostly because of how out of nowhere it is. And overall, and it's definitely a season that does have some up and down terms of the episodes and the pacing and everything. We do get some great character moments. You get some fun pretty characters. Again, Patrick was a fun presence. Some one had a fun downfall. Alan Ball was fantastic TV. Even Allie was definitely great. It was just a weird stretch of the final 11, final 10. Final 9 was great. Final 8 was pretty fun. And as much as I can see why people consider the whole bad bomb aspect, the final set of Tribal is one of the best travels in the show's history. And the fun back and forth between the characters are great. And Ashley's great, Lauren's great, Devin's great, Ryan's great. Chrissy, I actually enjoy a lot more on rewatch. And also, I like Ben. I like Ben. Might have actually think I like a little more Winners Award, but I still like Ben on the season. But I will admit that Fire Twist does kind of bring season down a bit, and pacing is definitely up and down throughout the season. I still think it's a solid season, but definitely nothing that's just like, oh my god. And now we are going to get to the Some Good Skills tier, which is, of course, basically the tiers where basically, of course, these are the tiers where they're just generally good. And maybe some that I think are just great. So let's just get to them. At 44, we get to another South Africa season, that is Santa Carolina. Again, it was to kind of figure out that the kind of stuff ended up being very strange and how it's structured. It's definitely a season I think the pre-Dre does kind of drag in some areas and does have some pretty off moments and just pretty boring tribals. But it's one of those seasons where I think that when the merch kicks in, it really gets hard game. Mostly because I'm actually Hayden, who I think is one of the best not winning players of all time, and it's just a fun character in general. You know, you do get some fun back and forth, some fun character moments, some crazy tribals, especially at the final 7 round and final 6. Like, Jesus. I don't know, it's a season that definitely is very entertaining, very fun to watch. Again, can drag in the pre-Dre phase at some point. Like, it's definitely part of the first instance of a season where I think the pre-Dre phase is not that great, but the post-Dre is fantastic. And this is one of the seasons probably like the weakest example of that. It's definitely still a good season. Now at number 43, we have Survivor 42. Again, not going to do too much in the season because like I said, I did do a new era ranking, so we got to check that out. But I think 42 is basically a more improved season of 41, honestly, while it has some insane twists and same issues. It's better cast and more insane moments and more memorable moments, and also more better episodes, so do make this a good season. And at 42, we now have Survivor Edge of Extinction. Now this, the other scenes twists in this, which I don't really have any issues with, honestly. I think the problem, obviously, is just how it's executed and how it's handled, and something I don't think they really figure out much of the rules or what to really expect from the Edge, so it's like makes things a lot confusing and just frustrating, which of course led to a third boat being the fucking winner. But
But it does have a solid cast. Well, some of them actually a lot more underrated than I remember them being. There are also some fun characters here. I think Chris is actually a lot more memorable than I remember him being, honestly. Rick Devens is an all-time great character, honestly. He's one player that I never get sick of, and I expect to see on the next between play seasons 550. Like, I'd be shocked if he's not on that season. Lauren Victoria always got great characters and great moments. Ron has his moments. I think even Julian and Gavin have their moments. And of course, the twin players, Wentworth, David, also have their moments. Like, I'm always for seeing like David and Kelly return. Joe's a lot more visible than I actually remember him being on this season. And you know, we had a pretty decent run as well, which led to a fun blindside throughout. And you get some really fun back and forth between a lot of the players and some great IR plays and insane tribe count to the final level, which really started the whole escalation of the live tribals, which well, boy, Game Changers more so started at. This one really elevated it. So it's a rating that's a little topsy-turvy, most because it is really edited at some points and questionably edited, especially, you know, again, the third boot being the win of the season. But there's still enough good and enough fun moments to where I can actually watch and have fun with. And now we get to another New Era season, and that's 43. Again, really good season. Check out my New Era ranking. You guys want to know my multiple thoughts on this season. Now we have reached top 40, and we're getting to the point where ranking these seasons actually have been pretty difficult, honestly, to what I kind of knew I was going pretty high, but in terms of ranking the other seasons, it was definitely very up there where I was going to rank them, where I was going to put them. But this one being something that part of me kind of wish I could put a lot higher, honestly. But you know, just depends on quality and all stuff. But yeah, at number 40, we have Survivor Banner Wall 2. Again, pretty much one of the pure definition of the season. I think it has kind of a weak pre-jury phase, but an incredible post-jury phase. And also the pre-jury is bad, honestly. I think there are some fun moments with the whole Burke blindside and the Dolly vote outs, and there's the fun tribals, and the Lisa ones I actually remember being fun, great. And the Bubba tribals that Bubba kind of blows all game was a lot of fun. I think the problem with obviously is just some that end up feeling kind of stale, and mostly because it's also known that aside from like obviously Bubba, aside from Brooke, aside from Bubba and Dolly, the rest of the pre-jury characters are just not that fun and interesting. I mean, it's probably a little more memorable, but aside from them, the rest of them are just kind of cannon fodder. And just not the most interesting TV to watch, and tribes themselves are just not that interesting. But when you get to merge these picks up, even when the Bagong happens at the final 10, 9, 8, there's still some fun moments and some fun interactions that do make them fun worth watching. But everything from Final Thought on is just incredible. Fantastic TV, the underdog coin Chris Daughtry again. I always loved Chris Daughtry. Like I always say, I've always loved Chris Daughtry, but my opinion on him really skyrocketed on rewatch. Like literally, on rewatch, my opinion on him really skyrocketed, really lifted high up, honestly. So I think he's actually one of my favorite winners, honestly, because of his underdog run and his incredible final job performance, his great media run, his great back and forth, how he was able to drag himself way into possibly being a final 7 boot, and was able to actually make it to the end. Like, it's incredible to witness. And also the Van Water and so is definitely a great environment to be in. Again, that earthquake scene also is a meme for a reason. So yeah, Van Water 2. Yeah, it's all. Like I said, it's also not definition of a season that has a kind of weak pre-jury, but a fantastic post-jury, and that's basically it with Van 2. And now we tune to another South Africa season, that is Survivor South Africa Maldives. Which basically was a celeb versus pleb season, which was very odd and weird, but it's a season that doesn't really kick off the best with the pre-jury, but it does get a lot better. It's one of those that definitely gets better the more it goes along, once the characters are more defined, the win shows are more defined. And why on one side of the season I asked like any like true stick out moments. That's probably the reason why it's not high on the ranking, honestly. It's one of the more fun and entertaining seasons of the show, honestly, mostly because of its cast, mostly because of its fun moments. Again, Tajan's truly great villain on the show. History and Heike is a very memorable winner. And Let's Go Borneo, great kid as well. It's also one that I don't really have a lot to really say about it, honestly. Dr. Ding's a great season. And now we're going to go to talk about the oldest school season that I get to talk about on this list. And number 38, we got Survivor Africa. And it's one of those seasons that definitely, like I mentioned, honestly, has kind of got a lot better, honestly, the more it's gone along. Like, it's definitely got like a mixed reception with it there, but it's got a lot more love in recent years, honestly. Yeah, I've always had a soft spot for Africa, even though I heard it doesn't aspects that have not aged particularly well. It's mostly a big Tom, like I forgot a lot of the stuff he's saying this season, but he's still a fun character in this season. Ethan's probably the most likable one in the show's history. Lex is incredible villain, probably one of the first true villains in the show's history, and he is incredible. He's like someone that's always going to be incredible TV whenever he's on anything, and he puts here. Also, Kim Johnson, may she rest in peace, great person to watch as well. We also got T-Bird as well. Again, still a shame she has not returned for All-Star Season 1. Why now she has not returned for an All-Star Season? Why? Kid Battle's great too as well. Kelly's great as well. Again, the final episode's just fantastic. Clarence is great. Some future players are not the most greatest, but there's still some fun moments as well. Got the first incident of the swap and someone being swap screwed. The African setting itself is just beautiful to look at, even though it does lead to being one of the most dangerous, not the most dangerous season to watch in show's history, mostly because of where they are set in Africa. You also get some really fun character moments as well, some fun back and forth. It does kind of drag a little bit towards the merge and a little bit PJ, which, again, that's something I'm not really huge on, which is probably the only reason why Africa is not higher on this ranking, but Africa season 9 is still holding near and dear. It's still season I can always enjoy watching, mostly because of course, the big three, Ethan, Tom, and Lex. And now at 37, we are going to have about Samuel Del Sur. Again, similar to Very Want To, also, it's definitely not a season that has a pre-week PJ, but an incredible post-jury. I also like Very Want To, I don't think I mentioned this, but it's another season that did get a lot of negative reception when it first aired. I think most because it was the next season after an incredibly beloved season where Very Want To was out to All-Stars, which was beloved at the time, but now it's not anymore. And this was out to Kagiana, which spoiler, you'll see a lot higher on this ranking, that people could be the best of our season. And of course, for that we had another Blood vs. War season. So obviously there was a lot of hype going Samuel Del Sur, which I think a lot of people kind of felt let down, honestly. But in recent years and recent time has passed, people got a newfound appreciation for Samuel Del Sur. And like I said before, it's another season where basically, again, it's another season. Well, again, the pre-jury is definitely not the greatest, but I think it's actually a bit worse if I want to, if I'm being honest. Not that it's bad, honestly, but I think the only really memorable episode in the pre-jury, honestly, is the True Christie Blindside. Like, that episode in general is one of the best downfall episodes in the show's history. And also the films between, obviously, Jeremy, Josh, Keith, Baylor, Missy, and Val's two idols and all that stuff, but... And of course the whole John Rocket incident with Natalie, but aside from that, there really isn't much to really chew on. Like, 5 and 6 especially are pretty bland episodes and pretty not fun episodes to watch. And the merge is all the best with the whole, with the whole Julie quit. But after that, it is great episode after great episode, great blindside after great blindside. Like, the fact, again, it's still insane that Edgy just blew up. Now the fact that Josh and Jeremy, two of the biggest contenders of the season, mind you, that got the biggest edits of the season, and they're going out back to back at the final 11 and the final 10. That is still insane that they end up going for that. And of course, it's on Natalie Anderson's arc, and this is where she started. Well, not saying she didn't previously, but this is when she really started to blow up with her revenge onto John. That final 9 tropical stuck to the plan. Also, rest in peace, Keith Neal. It is incredible tribal council, one of the best in the show's history. And it leads to Natalie making impressive moves, some of the most impressive, fun gameplay moments in the show's history, some of the most impressive gameplay moments in general. Again, especially her, like, accidentally flipping to Alec, actually blindsiding John, playing that for Jacqueline, and somehow pulling out a win. And he also gets Margaret Tessa John, of course. I mean, you also got Kelly Wentworth too, again. But it's crazy that she ended up returning for Cambodia, and she had to come in Legends by her being kind of a forgotten pre-Drake character. Honestly, again, like I said before, the True Christie Blindside is incredible, one of the best downfall episodes in the show's history. Josh and Jeremy are great players. Coach Jeremy is now pretty much a legend at this point. Raidhead was a fun villain. John Mish had a pretty epic downfall. Baylor has a moments. Keith Neal has moments. Even Missy and Jacqueline, a lot more memorable, Jacqueline, I remember, was a lot more invisible than I remember her being. So yeah, Samuel Del Sur, I say it's great stuff. Again, that pre-trade phase does kind of hold it back from being much higher, but it does have one of the best mergers ever, post-mergers in the entirety of Survivor. And now we get to another Australian Survivor season at the number 36. And that's the start of the Network 10 era, Australian Survivor 2016. Which basically started the new era of Survivor. While it definitely had a couple growing pains, that's the reason why that Network 10 era did blow up as much as it did. As you get a lot of great character moments, you get an incredible cast of characters, a lot of insane people, some really interesting players throughout the season, and some interesting crazy back and forth, which, but this season probably also has probably one of the best pre-juries in the show's history, like the insane amount of character moments, the fact that normally I try to lose so many challenges in a row, normally be boring. This one just so interesting, mostly thanks to Phoebe as a character. She's probably easily one of the best pre-jury characters in the show's history. And the crazy back and forth without the tribe and the chaos needs to happen. And while the post merge definitely does tear a little bit, which is probably the reason why this season is where it is on this list, it does eventually get better, especially with the final 7 round being an incredible, one of the best blind sides in all Survivor. And just there's great character moments in general, and a great cast in general, that makes for a really interesting ride despite the opposite of bloated length. And now we go from Australian season to a South Africa season, and that is Survivor South Africa Champions. Season 5. A very interesting answer. The only reason why this season is only where it's on this is because of the Champions twist, which I think is a terrible twist. Especially when you have two people that literally don't know Survivor. Like if you go, like this basically kind of like Island of the Isles, just where Island of the Isles wasn't a thing, except these two would have like more actual general impact on the game. Sometimes they even give like random votes, and sometimes they even vote for a winner. Yet these people don't really know Survivor, so it's like, really, a couple people that actually are knowledgeable in the game? So that you do get a pretty great cast, honestly, a pretty insane group of characters. I mean, there's a reason why a lot of them brought back for the All-Star season. And it's crazy that some of these pre-show players end up becoming like really great characters. In that season, like with Phil especially. You also got Graham, who was kind of a little more boring of a character than I remember being. Like he was Graham as basically the boring version of Tony, and that's basically it. He's still an incredible person to watch. He can play alone. The underdog of Blue Blade is very interesting to watch. And the fact he gets some incredible rounds of gameplay. Hell, he gets someone that brought out 2 rounds in the pocket with Shane. He gets some insane tribals, some crazy back and forth throughout the season. And the final 5 rounds are incredible rounds of gameplay. You get some incredible character moments, some insane back and forth throughout, which leads to a very satisfying win. So yeah, it's a great season. Definitely some weird aspects with Champions twists, and there's also instances where someone ends up stealing someone's idol, which, yeesh. But this one, I think South Africa really saw the rise up, and spoilers, you definitely will see the other season much higher here. But yeah, Champions, my opinion, a great season. Now, after 44, we get to another Australian season, that is Australian Survivor 2017. And the best first credit season is basically a more improved version of Australian Survivor 2016, where I think it takes a little issues with that season and improves upon them. To what it does have to blur length, honestly, and some non-elimination episodes. And maybe a couple more duds. These characters are really high. And this season has Luke Taki, who was one of the best characters to ever appear on Survivor, like an incredible player, an incredible confessionalist. Like his confessional is one of the most hilarious and unique in all of Survivor. Like, how can you not love his amazing play? And it's also interesting to Smith and Mark this season, people who kind of more forgotten, but obviously they end up competing in Australian Survivor 27 above his water, or one of them is a winning this season. We also got Jericho, Tara, Peter, Michelle, Sarah, Tessa, and that Trump announcer was insane, by the way, who voted out. Ziggy, and Alicia, and Elise. Like the interesting twist, the crazy back and forth that happen throughout this season. You always get great cast and just great moments throughout. Again, the line does kind of busy where it's on this list, but it's still a great season. Again, pretty much an improved version of 2016. And now we get to what people said about one more underappreciated season at the time, and that is Survivor Guatemala. And yeah, this made my people excited this season because it's crazy that no one this season actually ended up returning, obviously, until when the war with Danny actually made the return. But I still saw how Guatemala, honestly. Again, it does have a bit of a weak pre-jury, and some of the players in that season kind of feel like cannon fodder. But you do get the fun moments with a fun first episode. The whole like Blake vote out with Blake was pretty interesting. Brian's a great pre-merge character. Amy's great. Bobby John second time was great. Stephanie was also a great presence. You know, she's a little more white than I remember her being on this season. Danny was a fun presence throughout, and her strategy was pretty interesting. Rafe, Lydia, Judd, Sydney, Gary, Jamie, and his paranoia. Like, you get a lot of great characters, a lot of great blind sides. Like, the bottom 8 blind sides are incredible TV. especially enjoy having fun. And the final six one of the most bitter reactions to anyone leaving the game. And you get just incredible final media challenge in general that leads to some pretty emotional moments. And also the drama selling itself, chef's kiss. And now we get to the last season in this tier, and that is Survivor UK Season 3. Now it's still up in the air whether we're actually going to get another season of Survivor UK, honestly. And I don't think so at this point, honestly. But this would end up being a surprise, actually. I'm pretty sure no one know what they were expecting when the Survivor UK season, actually many years later. But it ended up being a nice surprise, actually. Again, another season that had a kind of a, at least the first 3 episodes were not the most interesting in the world. Again, from what I gathered, from what people told, the UK audience is definitely a very interesting audience where they don't really like a lot of treacherous gameplay, apparently. I think that's offensive if that happens. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, that's just what I've been hearing. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. That is really just what I've been hearing. It's probably why Survivor didn't end up being a success in the UK. It's just what I've been hearing. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. But after those first few weeks, let's say when the swap happens, the season ends up really picking up once it introduces a lot more natural Survivor elements and people actually learn the game as one along, and you get some season where it ends up being pretty unpredictable, where you never really know what's going to happen. You get some insane tribal councils, some crazy back and forths, and overall pretty solid cast in general with some fun characters, some fun moments, some surprising gameplay moments. And so while it does have a couple known issues with the host not being the most charismatic in the world, having a rewatched finale, but as a whole, it's a season that I'm definitely very positive on. Like if we do end up getting another UK season, I can see it moving at. If we do end up getting another UK season, I can see them actually improving a lot of elements of this season. I would definitely love to see a return to UK at some point. Like I can see this actually being a huge thing. Honestly, again, the ring up. Again, I don't remember how good ring is or not, so I'm not sure when we're gonna get a new one. But again, of all these on the list, this one's definitely the most pleasant surprise. Now, at number 31, we now get to the new tier called Hide the Torch. This bases every other season that's on the top 10, honestly. So yeah, all seasons I consider to be just amazing here right now. And it was definitely tough ranking these ones, just a heads up. But yeah, at number 31, we have Survivor Marquesas. Another season that I think has got a lot more appreciation over the years, a lot more love and attention over the years. Well, some of the Africa, I don't think this was a season that really was well received or well notarized or was well insulated into how much it was loved and everything. But the more it went on, the more people were like, oh, this season actually might be pretty good actually. Like, it generally might be good. I think Yelling is a great season, and I think honestly gets better with time on. So again, this also brought the perfect boss to Rob, to while there may be some ickiness moments, like I told Rob about him counting out John. There's a reason why Boss Rob ends up becoming the beloved character that he is. Sepia, now I think are two pretty solid on two. Kathy's great. Pascal, well, noting what he has done after the show, I'm not going to say it, also great. And still a shame we're not seeing Sean Rector return. Fantastic underrated character. General Tammy, John Kell, Zoafun, and Gina, Gabriel, and his like wanting to like not be malicious and everything was led to his downfall. He had some fun changes with them actually get rid of the actual alpha males early in the season, and of course the after getting the underdogs and actually flipping on Majority Alliance, which was a surprising instance during this time in Survivor. And it's just fun and entertaining for a majority of the season. I don't think it's really a true bad point for that season. Just as season, I think I just have more random moments, but my case is one I definitely grown to appreciate more. I think I remember being a little low in the season when I first did my Survivor ranking back on my original channel, but the more I think about my cases, the more it has really gone up. Now we reach top 30 people. At number 30, we have Survivor Palau. Not that I think has got a lot of love and appreciation the more we watch. Again, I just think every season have more higher highs, which is probably the only reason why Palau is at number 30, but it's still a great season again. Especially when Oolong was fascinating to watch on screen. Gonna get a lot of fun, pretty much characters from that. Some kind of duds, honestly, with Ashley and Ibrahim, and the place not being the most interesting in the world, but as a whole, the fact that we have tried to kind of upload on so was pretty fascinating to watch. The Coral Tribe still was fascinating with Tom, Ian, Katie, Jen, Karen, Greg, their character kind of sucks. Janu, Colby, and the crazy how that's the pre-merge with the whole Colby blindside, Janu quitting, them trying to actually get some of the bad team Tom and Ian, but they can't because Karen sucks. Greg's blindside, doing the Karen butt out, the whole Final Four challenge, and the whole Christy Incredible Final Media challenge. Which, again, is one of the best Final Media challenges in show's history, probably not the best. Also, the landscape of stuff was great. Again, the only reason why it's only 33 is because, again, the winning is pretty obvious, and that whole first episode where basically they had 2 people get voted out without being on trial was just pretty harsh. But as a whole, Palau is still great. And now at 29, we have Cook Islands. Yeah, Cook Islands is at number 29 on this list. Again, despite the fact it has a questionable racial theme, honestly, and maybe some episodes that can't drag, and maybe it doesn't have the most interesting plays in the world, most of the preacher characters. There's still a lot of fun to be had this season. It has it's overall still an incredibly fun ride, honestly. It's a fun characters, some great back and forth. Again, the first incident of the final 3, the Billy Garcia one is just so entertaining to this day. The whole playing voodoo one, now with the cowboy being evicted, made me blindsided. Why did I say evicted? Jonathan Penner being Jonathan Penner, the mutiny, the final 9 round, the final 7 round, the back and forth, back to 4 end up dominating and actually make it to the final 4. The hilarious fire making challenge, just filled with so many iconic moments. So while I'm saying it's paced the best at points, and that Rachel theme still is questionable, there's still not like truly high super this season to where it is at 29. And now we are going to get to the last new era season at number 28, and that is Survivor Boy 5, which I think is, as of right now, the best new era season. Again, if it wasn't for those lost votes aspect and the whole auction itself and how the standard structured that, truthfully, this season actually would probably be in top 20, honestly, because that's how fun. And also the quits don't help either, but if it wasn't for those few aspects, the season actually would be much higher on this list. Because of the crazy drop councils, and if I feel like a little bit old school, and the crazy characters, and the cast itself. And because season probably should be much higher, honestly, because of those aspects. But of course, because of those lost votes, and the section with that, and how the auction is structured. Again, this season ended up not being as high as it should be, unfortunately, but it's still a great season. And now we get to the sequel series at number 27, that is Survivor the Australian Outback. I know this season got a little bit bad reputation, mostly because of the post-merge. I know there are a lot of people that really don't like Australian Outback because of those reasons, but I always had a soft spot for this season, where, again, I agree it can drag, especially in the later portions of the post-merge, mostly because of the 42-state formats, but as now a season where I did the cast really does elevate it. So I did the cast itself is entertaining, really fascinating to watch, really fun to explore. You get some, it's not like a total gun, you get some fun blind sides in general that makes it so entertaining to watch. You get some fun pretty much episodes, the whole Mitchell boot round, and the whole beef jerky incident, queuing for Alicia, the scoop evacuation, the final time with Jeff Varnum coming up for peanut butter, and the tie between him and Colby. I mean, you still get some fun character moments, some fun back and forth. The Australian looking is just incredible. Some fun challenge moments, fun character moments throughout. And just even now, you just pleasantly enjoy. Again, it can drag near the end game, I will admit that. That's probably the reason why it's only at 27. But there's still enough highs to where it's still at 27. Now, at number 26, we get to definitely one of the more dated seasons of the show, but one I still pleasantly enjoy, and that is The Amazon. And of course, I say by dated, obviously, mostly because of how the men treat the women, because it's a Men vs. Women season. And I totally forgot how horny a lot of the men are in this season. Like, I totally blanked on that. Like, I really did totally blank on how horny the men can be at times. A lot of times it can be very entertaining. A lot of times it's just like, really? But it's still entertaining, right? Honestly, again, may not have the best pretty much right, honestly. But there's still some fun moments and some fun entertaining characters that do make it not the worst pretty much in the world. But you get the great post-merge episodes with the Dave Blindside, the Roger Boot episode, where Rob had one of the best professionals ever. Then with the Deanna, Alex, and Chris Blindside, 3 of the best episodes in the show's history, and 3 of the best blindsides in the show's history. Also being the first instance of the swing vote. I don't need to mention how incredible Ross Sessamino is as a character, as a villain, as a revolutionary that's still beloved to this day, honestly. And while Gemma Gus is not the most interesting one in the world, like, she's definitely kind of going down for me on rewatch, I still think she's a solid enough winner. And the Amazon itself is a great place to location and great place to witness. And all around, even then, the horniness is still pretty hilarious at times, especially with the incident with Jenna and them hiding under a strip from peanut butter, which, while it's a moment that probably wouldn't be notable today, it definitely was notable at that time. So yeah, Amazon, still great. And now, at 25, we have Survivor 25, which was a season that basically stayed Survivor, honestly, and of course this was after like 4 terrible seasons, which you guys, most of you guys saw near the bottom of my ranking. But this season that basically just like, oh yes, Survivor can be good again! And it is a pretty interesting season, and honestly, being the first one to come back to 3 tribes since All-Stars, basically having like 3 returning players all evacuated, having the Maxine tribe be a terrible tribe with Zane being one of the most hilarious food groups ever, and Russell Swan's fortunate downfall. And well, yeah, Scoopin nowadays, I don't think you mentioned that, but he was still a fun character this season. John Depender is John Depender. A lot of the crazy back and forths that I have throughout are pretty interesting to watch. Again, the Rewatched episode has crazy vote after crazy vote, crazy moment after crazy moment. I mean, the final 10 round, I totally forgot how incredible that Trump Council is. Even the RC one and the arcs I thought were pretty interesting as well. Final 7 round is also pretty crazy and interesting. Final 6, Final 5, and also Malcolm, Denise being a great pair to watch. Lisa having a pretty emotional story. Amber, I actually don't hate Amber. I would say, on rewatch, I actually don't hate Amber as much as I used to, honestly. To one end, she can be grating at times. She definitely isn't as grating as I used to find her, honestly. But yeah, the season, and one, it may have some other players, which is probably the only reason why it is 25 on this list. Philippines is still a great ride that makes you realize, oh yeah, Survivor can actually be great again. Because again, this was after a string of terrible seasons. And now we finally get back to the international seasons at number 24, where we have the next Australian Survivor season, that is Australian Survivor Champions vs. Contenders 1. For a long time, people said this to be the best season of Australian Survivor from this era, and it's not hard to see why. Again, you got another season that has a great cast of characters, a great cast of players that were definitely here to play. It's definitely one of the feelings transfers. Like, it's definitely one of the feelings transfers where you actually really don't feel like most cast of twists don't, maybe aside from Dead Man Walking twists, don't feel as egregious, don't feel as in your face, don't feel like they're just there to just pound the runtime. And they actually are pretty interesting to watch. You also get the birth of Shiny, who I think is one of the best characters, one of the best casting choices ever on Survivor. An incredible character, an incredible presence to watch. I absolutely adore Shiny so much. Like, she is just a wonderful presence from beginning to end. And Shane and Sean were very fun characters. Brian was a fun presence. Monica, Fennell. You can get a little hints from Russell, even though it's only 2 episodes, but it makes for a fun downfall. You get some fun pretty much episodes. That final 9 rounds, one of the craziest rounds of gameplay, one of the craziest drama councils in the show's history. Like, holy shit, that round of gameplay was just insane. You get just, blindside, crazy move after crazy move. Just, you never really know what's really going to happen this season. And that's easily what puts seasons high up as on this list. Now, at 23, we have Survivor Season 12, Exile Island. The season that probably introduced him. While it was kind of briefly introduced in Guatemala as like a one-time immunity, this one was pretty much introduced. While it definitely thought it was a bit overpowered at the time, it definitely was a very exciting prospect at the time it aired, and for good reason. It also introduced Exile Island itself. The first season also introduced 4 tribes in general. And you also get a pretty good cast of Joe too. While Lumia is a little more boring than I expected, the Kasai tribe is a lot more crazy. Like, generally, the Island tribe in general is the reason why the season is high up on this list. Like you got the most crazy, kooky characters in the show's history. You got a tribe that somehow stuck together as much as they did, which is pretty shocking. You get some crazy, insane moments, some characters that was just wouldn't see on Monday in Survivor. Yeah, they're just so entertaining to watch. Because Shane Powers and Courtney being one of them. There's also brought the birth of Suri Fields, who's part of the biggest one of the biggest legends in the show's history. I also go through a pretty incredible arc of someone who was scared of release in the first episode to actually be an incredible power player, especially part of that amazing 3-2-1 blindside, which I totally forgot how incredible that moment actually was. Ours is a lot more fun than I remember him being. Danielle as well, Terry D, it's going on an incredible immunity run. Bruce, Sally, Austin, Nick, the Marshall Mama Dane, Bivodas, like, and of course the crazy Bobby from Council and Bobby being a great pretty much character in general. Just insane moment after insane moment, and that's from the Kasai tribe in general. Like, that tribe alone is what hurts the season at 23. Now I don't say about what put this season on this list, but again, It's sad the season actually ended up being just on the list, but again, that just shows how great the other seasons were we talk about. And number 22, we got Survivor Season 32, Go Wrong. Another season I think I've grown a lot more appreciation and special on this rewatch. Well, again, you got another season that has a great cast of characters. Again, I'm trying to also have, if we try to form out Brains, Bart, and Beauty. And while it's not so questionable, it's still a pretty fun thing to witness. Again, seeing Alicia's like underdog story and how she's fully treated. Again, the fun food round, the general prize of being insane, the Kilo evacuation, which is pretty harrowing to watch, Anna's boot round, the Neo evacuation, Nick's blindside, the W.M. Scott episodes being incredible rounds of TV. You got kids like Julia, Jason, Scott. Like, I remember I hated Jason and Scott when I first watched this season. Like, I hated them with a burning passion. Yet I actually grow to enjoy them on this rewatch. Like, even I'm shocked by that, so honestly. That's because they're more just villains you want to see actually have a downfall, and they have one of the most epic downfalls in the show's history. Just like really epic as well. Cindy was a great presence, but Michelle's first appearance was definitely great to witness and watch. Aubrey I actually enjoyed a lot more as we watched. Ty is one of the most likable, pure-heart people ever on the show. Even does have some really criminal moments, he's still a very likable presence to watch. I think the only reason why the season is only number 22 is because of the evacuations that happened. That does kind of ruin the pacing a little bit, because Lisa actually for that moment, which I can tell was kind of a last minute thing. But even then, I wouldn't say that like totally ruins the season. It's just that's the only reason why the pacing can be a little all over the place because of that, especially at the final 5 round. Enough to maybe get a couple underrated plays in this season, but as a whole, this is definitely a great season. Also, Debbie, I also enjoy a lot more on the rewatch this time around. But yeah, Count Wrong, fantastic. And Friday number 22 definitely should say a lot the next seasons that we're talking about. And now the season that just missed the top 20 is a season that I remember being like super hyped about, but thankfully my rewatch, my opinion really changed. It's a case where I think the other seasons were a lot better as well as seasons as well as it is, and that is Survivor Cambodia Second Chance. I remember them begging for a second chance season. Like, that's a great concept for a twin play season. And baby, by the way, I'm still waiting on you, baby. I'm still. That's a story for another day. That's a story for another day. But Survivor Cambodia was definitely an interesting one. Well, man, people were once decent players to return. I was definitely excited to see what they could do. And it did disappoint. Oh yeah, some players were a bit disappointing, most of the Kelly Wigglesworth. Honestly, probably the most disappointing returning player in the show's history, and maybe some players were a bit more underrated than meant to be, none like Kim Katzenberg. And this team kind of more get above to the more like game-by-game play that we would get in later seasons. Also, I'd say we still get some pretty underrated character moments, some pretty emotional moments for the season. And Steve Spencer and Zarkin trying to understand emotions, not hilarious, but actually pretty charming to watch. I always liked Spencer. This is the start of Jeremy's like above his spiral legend. Tasha has a moment. I don't hate Maria this season. Keith Nails. This also gets above the Kelly Wentworth, who is now a spiral legend. It's great how someone becoming like a pretty disappointing pre-much player, and they're becoming like one of the biggest power players, one of the biggest legends in the show's history. That's insane if you really think about it. Joe's fine. Stephen Fishback was great. Again, Sierra was always great to watch. Seeing Savage, seeing some of his old school players were interesting. You get some really fun back and forth throughout the season. You get some great blindside. And the final 12 blindside is just incredible to witness. The final 6 round, you get some incredible rounds of great back and forth with the falling blocks and the Micho strategies. And again, I think it's definitely a bit more game by that memory being, but that doesn't make it boring, honestly. It makes it still pretty entertaining. And now, kicking off the top 20 on this list, I hope you'll enjoy this ranking so far, and that is Survivor Tocantins. Part of the first round season I actually watched before. As my first round season I got into about episode 6 or 7. This was the first one I watched all the way through. And I'm happy the point it holds up pretty well, honestly. And again, the Tocantins aspect is pretty beautiful, and the locales are just breathtaking to watch. The back and between a lot of these characters are great. Well, it pretty much doesn't have the best rounds with the first 3 episodes. And the same about that, it pretty much gets high gear. You still get some great character moments. Again, I remember I hated Coach when I first watched this season, but now I can see why people adore him so much. Like, he's definitely a very divisive character, that's for sure. Like, I can see why I didn't like Coach when I first watched it, but I'm happy that he ended up. But I am happy that he ended up growing on me on this rewatch. Yeah, Tyson's also great in his first appearance. Debbie, Sierra, Taj, JT, Steven, Aaron, Brendan. And Brendan's downfall is also fantastic to watch. Joe was a fun presence. Yeah, everyone found that one out was just incredible moments again. The Brendan vote out being crazy, Tyson being blindsided, Sierra's votes, the loved one visits, the coach's exile, which I remember going into. I remember was really hyped as an incredible episode, and yeah, it is. And you also got the first trooper doing with JT. If only this was his only appearance. But yeah, Tokyo I don't really have much complaints about. It's a fantastic season. Now we are finally going to get to the season that started it all. Survivor Borneo. Survivor Borneo. The season of Survivor that started it all. Almost 24 years ago, this blew up and became the reality show that we all love. And well, yeah, the season definitely kind of flawed, honestly. Maybe I probably shouldn't be decided because it is kind of a flawed season. There are some really bad growing pains with the pacing and some players and some aspects. But even by that, Borneo's still a fantastic season. Like, there's a reason why Survivor blew up as soon as it did. There is a reason why the show blew up as much as it did. And a lot of times also because of the cast itself. Again, Richard Hatch is a fantastic winner. Rudy's great. Kelly's great. Sue Hawk, Sean, Colleen, Jervis, Jenna Lewis, Greg, even some features like Gretchen, Doug, Stacy, BB. Like, there are some fantastic characters and some fantastic people on the cast that you just enjoy watching or want to see him get downfall. Like, it's the perfect recipe what you want to see from reality again. The tribal councils are still fun and interesting. The fun back and forth, the challenges, and while yeah, Jeff Probst's still a little more reserved this season, he still has a lot of fun moments. And again, this was the final season that started it all. And honestly, I still think it's probably one of the first seasons of reality shows that I would still say I recommend watching because it is a landmark season that really just. There's a reason why the show blew up because of this season. And the cast is really wide, the back and forth, the fun blindsides, tribal councils, the great back and forth, the votes. Like, it's insane. So yeah, I would still recommend watching Borneo. And we now get to another season that thankfully did also hold up upon rewatch, and that is Blood vs. Water, season 27. I think the season that also truly is a lot of Survivor is after Karen Moen, and it was. Not much of anyone said from was because of the Blood vs. Water aspect and some of the characters they had to bring back. But aside from Colton being Colton, this season is fantastic. This season is just truly incredible to witness. First off, it made Dexter Island actually, pretty interesting and used the potential of Dexter Island incredibly well, as it gets so many incredible character moments, so many great back and forth between a lot of the players. And of course, seeing Tyson and winning the season was fantastic to watch. Monica Copep was a lot of fun to watch, I remember. Jervis is a fantastic character. Seeing Tina return beat was great. And the loved ones were pretty great. None of the men are really being true duds. Like, maybe Rachel to an extent, but Marissa. Fun was great. Again, Brad Copeland had an incredible blindside downfall. Same with John. Laura B. Not as great of a player, but it was actually great to finally see on Survivor. I'm just seeing her a few times on Survivor at the loved ones visits. Venus was a great presence to watch. Caleb was great. May he rest in peace, by the way. Katie was definitely fun to watch. So you get a lot of good fun character moments. And you also got Sierra, who, well, also knowing the fact that she wrote her mom, which of course you know has been gorgeous a meaningful moment at this point. Like, aside from, like, barring that, Sierra's a great character to watch. I don't think it's such a down point or low point in this season. It's thrilling from beginning to end. The potential island duels were actually pretty fun and interesting this time around. They used the potential of that extremely well. And it's just a great thrill ride that's probably one of the more unpredictable seasons. And of course, it brought back the promo tiebreaker moments. So, yeah. And now we get to the truly elite Survivor South Africa seasons at number 17. And that is Survivor South Africa, Island of Secrets. Island of Secrets. It's probably the least favorite of the excellent Survivor South Africa seasons, but still an incredible season. Can feel a bit icky at times. I totally forgot how icky it can be at times, honestly. Maybe some episodes on that wasn't the best pacing, but it's really the gameplay of Rob Bentelite that really elevates this season. He's done one of the best winners in the show's history. But it's done means that basically it's not boring. It's more like, how is he able to do this? How is he able to pull this off? Like, holy shit, this is incredible to watch. Because again, he's actually a fun character. Just proves he can be dominant while still being fun. And he definitely pulls that off here, honestly. But he gets some other characters as well, like Doral, Nicole, Latita, Steffi, Mike, Jack Hughes. Some pretty good players, some people playing terribly, but some fun players as well. It's interesting to see how Tanny and Felix end up coming in, obviously, in the Hellcast. And he gets some fun future councils, some insane job councils in the post-merge, but you never even know what's really going to happen, honestly. Also, the Final 5 round is just insane to watch. The Island Secrets aspect is incredible to witness. Again, Deaconess does potentially be much higher on this ranking, but Iron Secret I think is still a worthy watch. Now we go from one international season to the next, and that is Australian Survivor. Brains versus Brawn. Australian Survivor, Brains versus Brawn. Brains versus Brawn. Again, this is definitely compared to one season that we'll get into later on this list, but it's definitely something that I really should not enjoy my dick, because this is the season that displays the worst tendencies and the worst aspects of Australian Survivor. Most of them with the twists and everything, and how just it can be egregious at times. But it's really the cast itself and the competence at a lot of points, and how competent it was, that makes the season so entertaining to watch. So even despite that, I never felt bored. I never felt like in a lot of areas I felt like I should be bored, but it's the kind of stuff that makes it so entertaining and so exhilarating, with the editing being so all over the place and twists being just so really, but yeah, it makes it so entertaining to watch. Like, it's definitely the definition of a train wreck season, but an hilarious fun track. And I would say, just witness for yourself. That's all I'm gonna say. And now we get to another international season at number 15, and we got probably the biggest jump in quality from a season ever on Survivor. As I guess, New Zealand season 1 was actually at the bottom 5 of this list. Now I'm gonna get to the second season. Yeah, Survivor New Zealand season 2 Thailand ended up being number 15 on this list. And talk about a jump in quality! It's like they actually learned from their mistakes from that season and be like, oh yeah, we should actually be confident. But yeah, it's incredible how much a big jump in quality it is. Again, it's unfortunate New Zealand only got 2 seasons, because after this it had so much potential. I would actually say just watch the season for yourself, honestly. I don't think I need to explain too much. Maybe I might make it better at some point, but on Survivor New Zealand Season 2 is incredible to watch, with a great cast of characters, crazy moments, an incredible Final 6 blindside that is just one of the best blindsides in the history, and an interesting winner and an interesting great moments throughout, and a very unpredictable ride. Not much is paced a lot better in Season 1, it's handled a lot better, the editing is great, it's really done paced pretty well. I would say I just recommend it for yourself. It's definitely a worth watch. Now, at number 14, we get to another international season, that is South Africa, Philippines. One of the people that got a lot of people into International Survivor, and for good reason. And one of them has aged pretty well, actually, and they could prove that International Survivor can actually be fantastic. As well, I think people knew about South Africa previously, and I don't think it was really this season. I think it was really this season too. It really elevated a lot for that for people, and for good reason, because it is an incredible season. And I don't think it's a true dud week on the season. I think every episode has an incredible moment, has incredible characters, has an interesting arc for a lot of these players, an incredible first round of gameplay, and actually getting a rock draw in episode 2. Yes, a rock draw happened in episode 2. You get blind at the blind side, great moment, and probably one of the most shocking winners in the show's history of someone that you think would not win this season. Yeah, he did. That's really all I'm gonna say. Now at number 13, we have Survivor China. It's fortunate I've never had to go back to any other Fiji. Like, I can't know why, but it's pretty unfortunate. Especially China is probably the best aesthetic and best looking season of the show, mostly because the show in China, and they actually used the China aspect incredibly well in this season. Like, of all the location experiences, it's one that utilizes that aspect the best, as you feel like you are in the area of China, and the challenges are very China-esque. And it's incredible witness. Again, the challenges are great, and the cast itself is one of the best casts in the show's history. A lot of players end up returning a few times. You got Tabi, one of the best winners, but here have one of the best found tribals. Courtney and Amanda are pretty fun presents to watch. Denise, PG, Eric, James, of course, is 2 out blunder. Jamie, John Robert, Frosty, Sierra, Aaron, his swamp screwiness, Dave, Chicken. Like, you get character. I don't think there's really a true dud in this cast, honestly. Again, it looks incredible. The challenges are great. The blind sides are great. And the John Robert blind side, the James blind side. He great back and forth between a lot of the players. Even when the votes on the interesting, that's still pretty fun to watch or witness. Alright, it's one of those, again, I don't think there's really a true bad episode. I think every episode is great to witness. So, as a whole, definitely belongs on this list. Again, really hard that this season did not end up making the top 10. Like, it really pained me that leads to the top 10 because I do have a lot of nostalgia for this season. As it was one of the first seasons I watched when I actually got into Survivor. But China, it's still an incredible ride. There's a reason why I picked it to be one of the best seasons. Now, number 12, we get to a season that definitely is one of the more divisive seasons on the board, and I'm not sure if anyone's going to have this season be a number high on this list, but screw it. Number 12 is Winners at War. Again, I can easily see why the season be disappointing. It's probably theoretically a season that should be a bit lower on this list, but if I'm thinking about seasons that made me love to show, made me why I love watching Survivor, this is one of those seasons. Again, it was a celebration of 20 years of the show. A celebration of 20 years of Survivor. Well, yeah, maybe some winners did end up coming back that we wanted to come back. But a lot of them end up putting their resumes and some end up coming fun to watch. Again, was it not fun to see a lot of the old schools get run up back to back to back to back to back? Sure, yeah, but it still made fun TV. You still get some incredible character moments, some great back and forth between a lot of the winners. Hell, see, some of these winners end up being on the same season were just incredible to witness. There's some incredible character moments, some incredible blindsides, some insane back and forth throughout the season. And yeah, the ending is not really the best ones because of the 60-episode format and Age of Extinction and fire tokens. I feel like they're just throwing all at you. I feel like there's another case where the season should. Yeah, another case where I feel like the show should be 90 episodes. And considering a lot of content, a lot that's happened, that's been revealed this season. Yeah. Honestly, if it was that, the season actually could be one of the best, honestly. But anyways, still going to get most again, still the fact that Tony Vlasic, of all people, ended up being the second two-time winner, it's still a moment that still shocks me to this very day. How the fact that he won 4 challenges and didn't get a single vote against them is even more shocking. And the intersection, while it's still flawed, definitely was still a fun aspect of the season. At least it's more well implemented here. And the fight turns out that was a fun concept that, though I kind of hope I didn't bring that back. I'm glad they didn't end up bringing that back after the season. I think it was supposed to be it was going to be a continuation until COVID happened. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. And Michelle thought was great. Again, Celestino's still a fun presence. You know, Ben is also a great presence. Denise, Nick, Sophie, and also the Future Blindside is incredible. Was probably the best episode in the show's history. Again, in some ways, this season probably should be a bit lower, honestly, mostly because of the editing. But the fact that it does a great job celebrating 20 years of the show, I had to put it season number 12. Not enough to make it the top 10, fortunately, because of the editing, but Winners of War is an incredible ride. And now, the season that just ended up missing the top 10 is Australian Survivor Heroes vs. Villains. Again, see, that definitely surprised me on how good it ended up being. Because again, this is where the Australian Survivor was kind of on a downhill slope, was never not. Because again, this was an Australian Survivor was kind of on a downhill slope. Weapon chasing into two bloodless water. Season Survivor was leaning towards the worst tendencies of itself. But since this was the start of them having a new showrunner, they actually ended up embracing a lot of Australian Survivor. They end up improving a lot of the aspects. Now, while there's still those little issues with the twist and the non-finished episodes, there's still a lot of incredible character moments, and there's still a lot more of some of these players this season. And while there's still some co-edited players, majority of new players are definitely interesting. And it's weird that we got like 13 new players, 11 20 players, that's more because of casting issues or something like that. But the ones they end up bringing back end up becoming great presence throughout. And George, I think, is one of the best. Yeah, I might not mention his basis bond, but I think George is probably one of the best characters in the show's history. Like, the guy. I feel like he's one of those characters that in any given season, he is going to bring so many great TV, so many great presence. To all he ended up losing in the end, and he ended up making far in this season, far in that season. This season, he was just close to losing the finale. I think he's much more entertaining, and honestly, I think this season's meant to the best character of Australian Survivor. Probably my favorite Australian Survivor character, period. I need to think about that. I might do a top 10 list at some point, but he's definitely up there, that's for sure. And Hales was great. Seeing Nia Twine, Catherine Chase was great to witness so well. Shani, again, always a great character and great person to witness. Flick is good. Seeing Sam, the weird choice was great. Siren's Mental is one of the best characters in show's history, and his rivalry with George was just incredible TV to watch. Like, probably one of the best rivals in recent memory. On that, we get like a very weird final three of one you would not expect. Jay and Matt doing a good great runner-ups, and Liv, I thought, is actually a pretty underrated character in this season. And you get some incredible lines with, of course, the episode 7-1 being an incredible pretty much tribal council, and the joint episode especially was great, and basically everything from the plot 12 on was just incredible to witness. To what did get a bit slow, and towards like the final 6, final 5. I don't think there's really a true like bad episode, true draggy point in this season. Again, this really fixed a lot of the majority issues with Australian Survivor, and spoiler, they end up continuing even more when next thing we get into, but damn, again, it's fortunate, again, this won't end up just based on the list, but Hero vs. Villains was a much needed improvement for Australian Survivor. Well, folks, we have done it. We have made it to the top 10. The top 10 best Survivor episodes. The top 10 best Survivor seasons, sorry. These seasons, I think, are the true Mount Rushmore best of the best in my opinion. My true favorites, my true top tier season. Again, this is kind of from me watching all these seasons. These are the 10 seasons I consider to be just truly elite Survivor. So, coming in at number 10 is the season that got me into Survivor Gabon. Now, am I a little biased with that? Probably, I'm not going to deny that, but I can't deny how great this season is. I can't deny how incredible of a ride this season is. Again, it's probably the most train wrecky season on this list, but it's a fun train wreck. It's an incredibly fun train wreck season where you never know what's going to happen. It's stuff you wouldn't normally see on any season of Survivor. And it's fun that this was a season that actually got me into Survivor because of the train wreckiness, but hey, yeah, it made me the Survivor fan that I am. Incredible character moments, the wackiest of characters, great moments throughout. Characters that just, you would not give like season make some terrible decisions, make such laughable decisions. And just a fun cast of players that are just entertaining to watch all the way through. Finally, Trump Council is fantastic. The winner is just, really? Like, I didn't realize how terrible Bob was as a winner until I rewatched this season, at least him as a player. Susie, Sugar, Corinne be one of the better Mean Girls. Corinne be one of the better Mean Girls they've seen on the show. Crystal and her being a Olympian yet failing every challenge. Kenny and his fun run throughout the season. Maddie being a fun underdog. The Fang tribe being a disaster of a tribe. Like, so many, again, Ace being a favorite. Again, so many incredible, crazy moments that, again, I would just say witness it for yourself. Now at number 9, we get season 9. So the last bit actually put in the top 10 actually. This actually plays Carone actually, but that's because the more I really thought about the season, the more I had to put in the top 10. And that is Millennials vs. Gen X. Again, seeing that really does kind of truly start the whole game by in this as Survivor. But it's just still a fun ride from beginning to end. So entertaining, so exhilarating to watch, having an incredible cast of characters, while some are more underrated than others. The people are still pretty fun to watch. Also, Sunday, may she rest in peace. Adam Klein, I think, is one of the most, probably one of my favorite winners, honestly, most cards of his emotional story. David Bryant has one of the best character arcs in the show's history. Kenneth Hannah, great characters. Jay is a fun Super Pro character that I actually enjoyed. Will was a fun young person to watch. Steve was a fun presence. Jessica, Chris, Taylor, Figgy, Michelle, Michaela. A great all-around good group of characters that were pretty fun to watch. Again, from Blindside with Lucy Blindside being an incredible moment on TV. Then Michaela Blindside, what? The match been back to Pokemon Tiebreaker here again in the final 10, which is insane. Just crazy back and forth throughout this season. I just can't help be so inverse to what goes on. And you still get that great emotional character moments as well. So I wouldn't say it's like 2 Game 5, but yeah, Millennials vs. Gen X, in my opinion, definitely belongs in the top 10. Now at number 8, we get to the first of 3 international seasons that end up making this list. You actually do have 3 international seasons that end up making the actual top 10. And number 8, we got the first of 2 South Africa seasons. Yes, 2 of them end up making the top 10. And number 8, we got South Africa, Immunity Island. And that season has just an incredible cast of characters. And that season is very game body at points. I would not like that, but that is still fantastic to watch. We still get the great character moments, but it gets some incredible gameplay, bro. Some is great and amazing, and some is just flat out terrible. But it makes for an incredibly entertaining ride from beginning to end. You end with Demi Iron still being a great aspect to witness, get some great pre-match characters, some great blind sides throughout the season, some incredible shocking moments throughout, and just seeing that just never gets boring, honestly, and seeing that never just gets And again, another season that has probably one of the most shocking moments in the show's history. Again, another season I would say, witness it for yourself. Now at number 7, it's great that season actually ended up being number 7 on this list. That just shows how amazing the other seasons we get into. And that is Survivor Mechanism for fan favorites. Again, an incredible season. It's one of the most beloved for a good reason. And again, I still enjoyed it pretty much, honestly. I probably enjoyed it pretty much more than most people, honestly. But the post-merge is definitely where the season really just shoots some high gear, where it might be the best version in the show's history. And each one has an incredible character moment after incredible character moment, blindside to blindside, crazy moment after crazy moment, insane character stuff. Like, it's insane a lot of stuff that happens in that whole merge in general. Even the pre-merge has some great character moments as well. Again, this probably made Pari the rival legend that she is now. This is also for instance, someone making the final council twice and losing, which we'll see a few other times as well in later seasons. The location itself is fantastic. The fan tribe ended up being a lot more memorable than you would expect. We get some crazy violence in Widow's tribe and them plays as well. Again, I don't think anything about this has already been said. It's an incredible season, honestly. If I just only know it's 7, I should tell you about the amazingness we'll get to the other seasons. Now at number 6, we get to the last Survivor South Africa season on this list, and that is Survivor South Africa Return of the Outcast. Now, the never was debating me for this season number 6 was because it does embrace the Australian format of 24 episodes, which I think was kind of like forced upon them, if I remember correctly. And that definitely can be a double-edged sword, honestly, as well. We've got more time to use players and everything. There may be at some points where the season can, where the pace is not the best at times, most touring and towards the final 7, the merge portion. But it's another season where I think the characters easily make up for it. So I think it's weird that they don't go for a pre-merge versus post-merge season, and yet that ended up working out to their benefit. Where I think literally every episode you get in crazy moments, you get a crazy blindside, crazy character moment, and just a lot of explosiveness, a lot of firiness, and a lot of crazy moments that happen throughout. Well, I don't think there's really a Trump answer why I felt bored and felt uninterested throughout. I think Dino's actually a very memorable winner. This was like, I think Mariah ended up becoming an amazing final juror after this season. Shane was a great presence, and Phil and Felix's reputations were upside after this season, and for good reason. Tajan was a fun presence, he was a bit more of a dodo this season. Steffi was also someone that really surprised a lot of people how great she was until she got an epic blindside in the final 9. Until she was blindsided epically in the final 9. Dante and Tony end up being a lot more fun presents than end up being, even though Tony has a pretty nasty moments. They have a pretty just icky moment that second episode. And again, a lot of instances where basically there are a lot of pre-jurors that end up brought up constantly in the actual pre-merge. Players that you think actually would be like great presence and season players that you think would make deep runs and the team brought up pre-merge again. And again, that Shona vote was also pretty insane as well. Like, you get some pretty insane vote outs and some crazy back and forth throughout the season. It was by the 24 episode format. I don't think I ever felt bored while watching this season. It's by a landslide the best Survivor South Africa season. Yeah, it's definitely going to be a word we're actually going to get another Survivor South Africa season, but if this is where you're going to end it, it was going to end it. Now, we get the top 5, people. Now, coming at number 5, we get to one of the most iconic seasons of Survivor, and that's Pearl Islands. What do you want me to say about Pearl Islands? It's the best classic Survivor for a reason. What can I really say about it? Yeah. Same at number 4, which is Hero vs. Villains. talking about the same masterpiece seasons, but what can I say about it that has already been said? No, Fantasy is only number 4. It should tell you how amazing I love these prequels. Again, it was definitely a debate, honestly. How Hero vs. Villains is part of the season that was my favorite for the longest time, actually. Like, for the longest time, even after Kageon, Hero vs. Villains was probably my favorite for the longest time. But the more I actually done actually discussing and redigging on my favorite seasons, I said my top 3 are probably my true definitive ones. Still, even is still an incredible season. Now we're in the top 3, people. And at number 3, the second runner-up on this list is David vs. Goliath. Without doubt, the best modern season. It probably always will be the best modern season, in my opinion, because it is an incredible ride from beginning to end with an incredible cast of characters. There's any true duds on this cast. Yeah, another season where every episode is crazy moment after crazy moment, blindside after blindside, the Final 12, Final 11s, incredible moments of TV. Again, you got a quick cast. You got Nick Wilson, ball's not great now, he was free in this season. Mike White, Angelina, Kara, Allison, Davey, Christian, one of the best characters in the show's history, by the way. Gabby, Alec, Carl, Dan, John, Elizabeth, like every person on this season had something to bring out, something to offer this season. And you really do feel a lot of that passion and a lot of these greatness of these players and just kind of be so invested in what goes on. And why I always like Angelina, I think in my opinion, her really skyrocketed on this season too. She's definitely one of the best characters in the show's history, and for good reason. David's kind of team, David's kind of team actually pretty interesting. It gets so many back and forth and so many great stories throughout. And it's just an incredible ride. And now at number 2, the silver medal, the runner-up, and it's actually the last international season on this list. And funny enough, it's the most recent international season, and that is Australian Survivor Titans vs. Rebels. I really debated on saying, I really debated this should be number 2, but I really have not stopped thinking about the season ever since it came out. Again, another season that just remember you. This is why I love Survivor. This is why I love Survivor so much. Because again, it continues on with the improvements from Hero vs. Villains. Oh, if I'm correct, this is probably the only season on this list, but I don't think there's really any point during the merge where there is a. Well, I don't think there's any point in the merge to where there's not an elimination episode. While there are still a couple in the season, there's only like 1 or 2, and while there's definitely one instance of them going back to the screwy twist, honestly. Even then, that moment's still fantastic to watch, so I'm not going to fault too much for that. Again, another crowd of incredible players that are very messy, very chaotic, but in the best possible way. You may get a bit ickiness, but it doesn't like playing too much. Where every Trump Council, you get an incredible series of events. One of the few instances where I think the alpha players end the game run up pretty early, which is pretty fun and refreshing to see from Australian Survivor. One of the scenes where you never really know what's going to happen, one's going to win, and who's going to do next with all the volume blocks and people going back and forth between each other. Having one of the most complex rivalries in the show's history with Ferris and Kirby. Having some of the most wacky characters in the show's history. Having some of the most fun presents, some of the most insane moments of gameplay in the show's history. To one, you still get maybe a couple twists, honestly, not so great twists with the one I mentioned where basically 3 players in the winning immunity and the end up being the only ones that voted. And an instant basically, you have an hour where basically if everyone votes for you, you are safe. Even then, those moments still made for incredible TV. But when there's never like any like true dope one, considering the season has like 12 episodes, it's incredible, and rewatching it really cementing the season as one of the best. Yeah, I know it's gonna be too hard for some people, but I mean, who cares? I had to include Titans Rebels as number 2 on this list. It's obviously the best international season that we have gotten so far, in my opinion. And it's going to take a lot to actually top, in my opinion. And honestly, it makes me even more excited to see what we get next Australia. Who knows? It actually could be number 1, actually. We'll see how it goes. But for me, my number 1 favorite season of Survivor is Survivor Kageon. Still, my number 1 season of the show. A season that I never really liked actually when I first watched it. Mostly because I used to have a hate for Tony, but I think I've heard say that for another video. I think I might do a separate video where I talk about why Kang is my favorite season, so I'm not going to get too much in detail here, but yeah, Kageon, top tier season, and pretty much everything except Titans Rebels you can say here. Again, A season that basically, well, I don't think there's any like true dud episodes, true dud players. Every episode, everyone has something to offer. Crazy character moments, crazy players, insane moments. Definitely a lot of Trump Council's best Trump Council in show's history. So, that season we never really know what's going to happen. And having followed the best crazy character this season, end up winning the season. Yeah.